Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the S-Team podcast. I'm Jack Millington, and joining me this week, as usual, as ever, is Michael Camp Hamilton Keating.
Sorry, let's start that again. No, let's start that again.
No. It's going up. It's going up like that. It's the way it's going. Oh, because you have a say in how it starts.
Yeah.
Nope.
This is a co-found thing here.
It's a co, and I just called you Michael Camp Hamilton Keating.
Okay, thanks, Jack. I'm a dickhead. Ross.
I didn't like. I'm great, I'm fantastic.
Fucking head.
And Mikey, that is karma for not accepting what I said. If you're wondering what's just happened to him, people, he's just headbutted on a wall. So if you want to write to us saying, can we put some sort of dagger on the back of that wall next time? Feel free to write into Mikey's gonna die soon.
Hashtag Mike at the S-Team, yeah.
Or if you want to Facebook us, comments on YouTube. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about this week. Well, I say a lot of stuff, I mean there's a lot of ranting and stuff to go on about, which I'm sure Mikey will perk himself up at. Although, if he doesn't find this flipping article in his magazine, I'm going to rip it out of his hand.
I know where it is. I'm just telling you what's the name.
We got some interest. We got some local news, which is actually quite sad in a way, but we've got to talk about it because it is local news. There's a new plague. If a bowl, there's a man going round on some, let's just say, sexual deviances on certain websites, which we'll be talking about. Some good gaming news. We've got
some hilarious gossip news.
We got some. We got some of that. Some motorsport news, obviously, as you can tell from what I said about Mikey. Film. I'm just going to get to that, yeah. And something that made me almost cry this week, but we're going to get into that later because it's a sort of. It's going to come. I know, and Mikey's got some. Do you want to do your part?
Yeah, you start.
Do you want to do your part when it comes to weird news? Because that would be the best place to put whatever you're going to say about.
No, it's not weird news. Oh, well,
it is a bit weird.
Story, yeah. The second story.
What's your first story?
Car news. Car news.
I will put your car news after local news.
Oh.
That way we can get it up top and early. So, this new plague outbreak. Now, Mikey, what old plagues do you know of? Not the Black Death, obviously, because that's the worst plague of all time.
Well, who does it though, that sort of thing?
People.
Well, you had bird flu and shit like
H1N1,
and
yeah.
then you had the one with the pigs.
Mad cow's disease.
No.
Foot and mouth, sorry, yeah, there's that as well.
Then there was. What was?
Do you know only one person?
The big one?
Do you know one person has only ever got foot and mouth?
Yeah.
And that was in 1966 during the World Cup period in England. And that's genuine truth.
Yeah, but can I just...
What? Sorry, go on.
Right, basically the swine flu.
So that's what one you're on about. Well, you've heard of the bubonic plague, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
Well, Madagascar, it's broke out.
What?
Yeah. In Madagascar, the bubonic plague has broke out again. So people, if you're expecting Ebola and bubonic plague to kill you, don't worry, they're going to tag team force and kill everyone. An outbreak of plague in Madagascar has killed 40 people and infected another 80. The WHO has warned of danger of rapid spread of the disease in the capital. Now, this would be great to see if Mikey knows what the capital of Madagascar is. He's not even going to try. Alright, see if I can pronounce this right. Antananarivo. Pretty decent name for the capital, but the situation has been worsened by high levels of resistance among fleas leading to insecticide. If diagnosed early, bubonic plague can be treated with antibiotics, but the problem is, bubonic plague is particularly difficult to spot early. It's like cancer in a sense. It's hard. You can spot cancer, but it's not easy to spot it straight off. Now, a task force has been activated to manage the outbreak, What do you think, Mikey? Do you think it's going to get out of Madagascar? Do you think it's going to fly and toddle off into other countries in Africa and stuff like that? Because you've got to remember, people, if you don't know where Madagascar is, it's at the bottom right of South Africa. If you don't know where South Africa is, it's in Africa. And if you don't know where Africa is, you've got big problems.
And if you don't know
and if you
what
don't know
Africa is, just go to that.
What's not a point, man? But what do you think? Do you think it'll get out? Do you think it'll go further?
Oh.
do you not care about dying?
Oh, yeah. Personally, you die. It's one of those. You just...
It's Mikey's most used catchphrase of all time. If you die, you die.
Shit,
most people would say Captain Obvious strikes again there.
You're 6 foot and you don't really fucking deep college. Shit happens.
I think it's pretty bad. I mean, like.
Yeah, I'm not saying.
It's to the point where they're facing a plague epidemic in Madagascar, and that you can't send animals in and out of the country now because you'll be in. You could be affected at anyone because animals can pass it over to humans. So we're all sort of, well, people in Madagascar are all sort of crying, something, which I can't say I blame them for, because that's very dark sort of thing to be going on about. But
yeah,
what can you do really? I mean, it's a big one.
Oh yeah.
Obviously, Mikey's paying full interest in this story whilst reading this magazine, but I feel like killing him. Anyway, stop touching my leg.
That's what you
Stop touching my leg.
Hey Mike, fucking don't see him trying to off the fear. Hey Mike.
To be fair, I did make some cracking jokes.
I did.
Now, Mikey, you know financial markets to a degree.
Yeah.
You do.
To a stable, certain.
So you could say to me straight away, what's the biggest market in the world? It's where everything gets made.
Oh, yeah. The engineering industry.
Country, you dick! Before I kick you in the face.
Country of America.
No, second.
Britain.
Really? Britain, a country that's now famous
China.
for knowing that they don't make sod all anymore, and it is third time lucky China. And there's a big thing, obviously, because China. There's a great piece last year that the BBC did about China building big cities for people, and then no one ended up showing up in them. There was no people living there. They were just known as ghost cities. People, if you want, go and check that out, because the ghost cities thing on BBC is one hell of a program to watch, and it was so bizarre watching how quickly China has, let's say, escalated in terms of their influence in the world. And even Mikey would admit that if he weren't looking at cars. But the big thing, though, however, is that China's current interest rate at the minute has been cut. Now, Mikey's probably thinking, oh, I don't know what.
Interest rate, basically, the rate of, basically, if you throw a quid, someone says you've got 0.75. Out of that 0.75 of 100 quid, you'll get 75p of interest.
They cut it to such a big point that it's gone from deposit rate from 2.75% to 3%. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but people, let me just put it to you this way: the Dow Jones in New York, which is essentially the financial hub of the United States, it is.
Dow Jones is another. What is the thing? The Yank dollar.
Just shush, Mike. Shush, Mike. I know what I'm talking about.
So do I. You're doing it wrong.
I'm not. Dow Jones is the market that they use to trade share capital on. Anyway,
I'm not having this.
the Dow Jones actually rose.
Hey,
Whatever. Just
say the Yanks. It's just annoying.
Rose to a new record high of 17,886. But now, the reason why this is big is because the UK mining stocks have now rose by 2%. Now, bear in mind, people, where's our mining nowadays? Cue Mikey. Oh, you know what? You know what I'm going to do?
No.
Put it down. Put it down. Not even paying an interest for crying out loud.
I am.
You're like this.
Says you. Halfway through the race, decide to start watching the footy.
Effect every company in the world, and you could see footy. You could see us being listed everywhere, and then Mikey's just like, all vegetables for £10. You know, people queuing up outside.
Spend £100, get a free share in there.
Yeah. So it's £100 a shirt. No, it's £100 and a free shirt.
See what I did there? Why give it to free? Just shut the fuck up.
It's being white to sort of like black.
Yeah. Big hole in it.
But yeah, genuinely, people, this week the news has been so. I know I've said it a few times, but this week's been so bad.
It's been that bad.
I mean, is that point to
it's
that bad that we've had to talk about the flipping financial market, which I never thought I'd talk about. I don't want to talk about politics because we're getting into that stage now with the little quiet period before all the Labour Party, etc., start to kick in.
We just want Christmas.
We want Christmas without politics. It's
Perfect.
November, but we want Christmas without politics. And you can shut up because you've dropped it so many times before, so you can't have a go at me. But I'm gonna move it away from that.
Let's go into the real world.
What got local news actually?
You said that about half an hour. Local news. We're just going to talk about China. It's like,
no,
Jack,
this is going to be
this is on the
local
other
news.
side of the world. How can it be local?
No, this is local news because it is in Birkenhead. And now you might have heard. I think we've mentioned this. Yeah, you might have heard very long months ago that Keating Davis passed away on Well Lane. And
to people who don't know this,
what happened was.
Please elaborate.
Well, actually, I was going to go because there's an inquest and the results have just been published from that inquest.
Oh, alright.
Keating Davis was struck by an MGZS on Well Lane on the April 12th this year. And the inquest has come in, and the coroners have also come in and they've said that Keating has been out with his mates, and he ran out at an angle from a car that was parked, and the MG didn't see it. And she just went straight into Keating. But Angela Collins, the woman who was driving the MG, she was heading along at the speed limit, and the cameras have confirmed this. She was at the speed limit, and she was with her son and daughter in the back. And then she heard a bang on the side of the car, and in a split second, Keating went face first into the windscreen, which shattered. And there's loads of statements that have been said, and the girl that he was with, Keating, her name was Chantel, said that he'd been messing about and they were chasing each other when he ran out from Elderwood Road onto Well Lane. Now, other witnesses have also agreed and said this, but he said that just recently, Well Lane, the mile an hour has been dropped from 30 to 20 miles an hour. At the time it happened, it was 30 miles an hour. Constable Philip Clark, the collision investigator for Merseyside Police, has said that if the speed limit had been 20 miles an hour, he'd survived that. But because it was 30, and in some ways you think, well, why the hell wasn't it 20? But at the same time, it's a case of bad timing for when it's happened. Now, you know, a lot of people are probably thinking, some people have listened will know Keating Davis. I knew Keating Davis. And
I seriously didn't know.
You didn't know Keating, but I did because he was in my year. He went to my high school. Now, I never had a problem with Keating Davis, and I know some people did, but I never had a problem with him. When we did talk, and it was on very rare occasions like that. It was always fun. There was never a problem between the two of us.
Okay.
So I never had any problems with him. But I was speaking to a friend of mine yesterday.
Our friends? Oh, God.
Yep, I've got you.
Okay.
But I was speaking to a friend of mine yesterday. He didn't get on with Keating. And he said, even though I feel sorry for him, what happened, and I feel sorry for the family and everything, which, you know, it's a sad time
You
for them.
generally do feel like
Feel
if
sorry
you've
for
lost someone.
a lot of people, and, you know, my mate has said that he still thinks he's a bit dopey for running out in front of the car like that. Now, whether that's reflected because of personal thing or the fact that, you know, he's got a point. Now, he might have a point. And to be fair, I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to know what your view on it was, because, you know, I would never run out behind a car like that in the way that Keating did. I mean, chasing after a girl.
My point of view, I can barely run it.
No, I know.
So it would be out of the question for that.
Mm-hmm.
But
Come on, Mike.
it's it's
I
that
mean-
thing. If the kid's fully obviously been enjoying himself. Yeah, running out. Yeah,
Bear in mind, same age as us.
yeah. You know what I mean. But you just don't. You just split second, man.
I mean, you know,
I don't know what to say. I'll be honest with you. It's one of them,
I'd
don't-
never do that, run out like that, but he did. You know, sadly, this is the result of that.
Mm.
But I don't know. I you know, like I say, I feel sorry for the family. At least, you know, this goes a long way to clearing up what happened.
Still
how
not
it-
enough, though. Doesn't mean to get back.
No, it
You know what I
doesn't.
mean,
But,
yeah.
you know, it's nice to know that there was no one at fault, and it was just an accident. Because, you know, if it had been found that it was a drunk driver, or it had been speeding down the street, something like that, then naturally people would be going nuts. But
Yeah.
it's good to know that it was just an accident. It was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And I just thought I'd mention that because, you know, it's strange because, you know, not often that someone you know, I mean, this has happened now twice for me, for someone that I've known and they passed away. You remember George Varley, who got hit by the train a couple of years ago?
Yeah, the one in Birkenhead.
And in Birkenhead,
Liverpool.
Yeah. I knew Ed as well. So it's a very strange feeling to have, and I read that piece a couple of days ago. It was just, you know, just nice to have a clarification.
This is how it hits you, how fast the years one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that was April. I mean, you look at it now and it's November, and you think that was so long ago.
I said to the meeting, well, it's the other day, it's gone too fucking fast. Because I said to them, yeah, we'll go for a pint every once a month, twice a month, once a month, whatever. We'll try and meet up, blah 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 blah. Eddie. Yeah. I didn't. The last time I spoke to like Dan and Sam and stuff, early
But
summer,
anyway,
and then I bumped into them.
I'll make the point by saying that it's nice to know that things are wrapped up in a sense of that, and hopefully the family can move on from what happened, and hopefully go on to sort of what's the word, honour his life for the rest of their lives, hopefully. But on to something that we haven't done.
So rest in peace before, right? And all the best to his family. Right?
All the best. But on to something now that we haven't spoke about for some time. And I'm going to hand you over to Michael Keating to do this next segment. So, do you know what? I was hoping Mikey would be prepared, and
I'm
he
prepared.
is. Have you got the page there?
Yeah.
Is that the page now?
Yeah.
There he goes. He's got the page now.
So, when I say to you, Japanese, especially Nissan, what hot hatches do you think of mine that Nissan have come out with?
The Micra, the Pixo,
No, like,
hot hatch,
yeah, hot hatch ones.
Pulsar, the GTR,
Yeah. The Sunny,
yeah, I always forget about the Sunny.
the Almera GT, the Primera GT.
No, those two cars, no. Those two cars were terrible.
Let's just get it. The guys at Nismo, who I look up to quite a bit, got bored, right? And instead of the Duke, he started having to play with the Pulsar. And this is the little thing on it. It's not, you're talking right, you reckon there's a chance it might actually have up to 370 brake horsepower?
Is this front wheel drive? This is kind of crucial now as to know whether this is front-wheel
Nismo
drive.
has dropped away within microns of the tarmac and it treated the new car and body kit twin axle central exhaust system, 16-inch alloy wheels. Yeah.
So is it front-wheel drive or not?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
He got himself all prepared, and then he didn't expect that one question to put him in a spot of difficulty.
Well, Nissan hasn't decided yet. This concept employs a 1.6 turbo 4. The engine is already found in. It's got the same engine as the Duke. Okay.
The Duke R or the
Yes.
Duke? I like the Duke.
The Duke R. Making sort of 250, 270, but Nissan admitted it's still figuring out exactly where to pitch the production hoppers. So
this is
doesn't really say. The one
let's have a
thing
look. Let's have a look at the car, Mike.
actually looks quite nice. Do you reckon it's going to be a big rival for the RS?
That's it. Bizarre. That does not look anything like a Pulsar compared to the old Pulsar.
Yeah, we're used to the old fucking thing, aren't we? Well, it's in the bottom left there.
I mean, I'm looking at this right now. Do you know what it immediately reminds me of? That A-Class mare, the AMG.
It's quite nice though.
And it just looks pretty much like that. It looks nice. I mean, I can't deny it looks nice, but I can see that being front-wheel drive. And if it's got 360 horsepower,
it won't. If it's Nismo, it'll be all-wheel.
It probably will be, but if it ends up being front drive, then that's going to be the stupidest car since the flipping VXR Astra that they first did, or the Vectra.
The GSI is nice.
I think
that's where it's. To be fair, they're all front-wheel drive.
I mean, that Pulsar's a pretty nice car.
And I thought I'd seen that the other day when I was in work, and I thought, there you are, I'd like to talk about that. Yeah, you've also got the TT Sportback Compact, which is actually going to be a 5-door. Don't ask me why.
Yeah, that is the most pointless thing I've ever seen Audi do with a TT.
Well,
that's coming from the cab. That's coming from the coupe version, not the cab.
The new 911 GTS.
So it's exactly the same car as the other one.
Pretty much. It's got a new set of headlights.
That's the most they've done for 30 years.
Lamborghini has gifted the Italian police with the Huracan, is it?
Huracan,
yeah.
Which, if you say it quickly enough, you realise it's the Italian version of Hurricane.
Whatever.
True, that's actually true.
What else? The Ferrari F60 America, because it's a special version of Ferrari. Oh, and latestly in the industry, right? Ferrari. Let's look at the Italian stallion. The famed stable of more. You know what I mean?
I'm so scared right now, folks.
Can you tell me who is the guy who inspired so many amazing Ferraris in your mind?
Depends what house you look at. Because Ferrari have had
just any in the past, say, 15, 20 years.
What, in the last 15, 20 years? Oh yeah, Ferrari have hardly had any cars in the last 15, 20 years that have gone stylish.
23 years ago, if you wish to be precise.
So that's what, 1991?
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be, wouldn't it? 23 years. I'm trying to think of cars that they've done in that time that I've gone, yes.
And
F355.
The 430.
Yeah. Not the Enzo.
The Italia.
Yes.
The...
that's it.
No.
Oh, the FF, my favourite.
The Madonna. Madonna.
No. Never. It just seems like a not as good version of the 430 in my eyes.
The 458.
I like that car. I mean, I do like that car a lot, but I just can't go, yeah, that's the car I want in my life.
I'm trying to think what else. That's... Well, you've got...
But what were you going to say, though, about 23 years?
Who do you reckon's the most inspirational guy that's been involved in all that?
Probably the Montezemolo.
Yes. And do you know what's happening to him?
Well, he's gone, isn't he?
Do you know why?
Well, because firstly he balls up at F1.
Nope.
Oh, what's he done then?
No. It comes to such a point between him and this... Who's this dickhead?
Mikey, you can tell he's prepared, folks.
Hey, you gotta give the guy credit. Sergio Macaroni, or what?
Mattione. He's
Yeah.
Fiat president, I'm right in saying.
Yeah, Fiat Chrysler president. Also, he just didn't like Luca anymore.
No. And to be fair, I can't blame him because he had quite a very old sort of view on cars, essentially.
Luca?
The Monsanto, yeah.
Why not? That's the heart of Ferrari. You can't just go, that's the same with like Vauxhall. There you go, we'll go cheap out. Fuck it, let's go into the Aston market. Let's just suddenly bring a car out that's got this, and that.
I don't get what you're on about.
Basically, he's keeping, in my mind,
He's the heart, but the problem is like, and a lot of
the
people
heart
have
can't
said
work
this is like,
without the blood vessels. The blood vessels can't work without the heart. Personally, you ask me, this Sergio guy is trying to run every single bit of this company.
that's what Fiat used to do. That's how Fiat. That's why. Do you remember the 70s? The
Yeah.
best period of all time Ferrari have ever had. 70s and the 80s for designing road cars. When Enzo died in '88,
Yeah.
Montezemolo took over, which at the time was the right thing to do. And right up until 2010, he was the right guy for the job. Last few years, the cars, since he took over the road cars, and not the F50 was not a good car.
Terrible. Like
The
Jeremy
Enzo.
Clarkson said, you felt like he was strapped to the engine.
The F60, the Enzo, I've never really liked it as a car.
Never, it just
The F355, probably the best car in those last 23 years that Montezemolo's ever done. The 430 and the F4, any variant of the 430 is a good car. The FF, probably my favourite hatchback. One of my favourite. Love that car.
I like it.
It's got a stupid system in terms of four-wheel drive, but I still love the car.
I like it.
You can say it as many times as you like, it's not going to change my mind.
I'm not trying to change my mind.
And what else have we had in the last few years? And the other car, all the other cars I've liked, but I've not loved.
It's not Ferrari.
You know, it's like the last proper Ferrari F1 car, Ferrari car that was any good, and I loved it. Was the 430. Before that was the 355. Those are the only two cars Ferrari-wise, and the FF I've loved.
Yeah.
But the last proper car, the last Ferrari that I can really connect with, is the F40. Who designed that car? Who was under the ownership? Enzo Ferrari. I can't really have a go at Ferrari for doing that because, you know, they're not exactly going to put Enzo's illegitimate son at the helm and go, look, he's taken over now, he knows what he's doing. He knows his cars, but
It's the spirit.
the way with Italy is, they're a bit against the illegitimacy side and stuff like that.
It's capital.
It's a strange one, but you were saying about 23 years. Why was your point that the Montezemolo was going, or
Yeah. I didn't know if you'd known about it, but like
you've known this since August? Mikey was so happy with himself, and then
There you go then,
Did
Mr.
not-
I know everything about car bosses.
I don't. I know a bit.
Who is the former, number 2 at Nissan, who is
I
going to
don't know.
run Aston Martin?
I know all about Nissan. I'm sorry, mate.
Andy Palmer.
Any relation to Jonathan?
I don't think. Dr. Ulrich Bez, who led the British band since 2000. He's gone on to do other things. Stephen Winkleman. Sorry. Has run the rival brand to Ferrari, which is obviously the one, which is where I prefer to be on, Italian side.
You just made me remember something. But carry on talking.
Since 2005, and Dr. Dieter Zitsch, I'm not sure you say that name, sorry. No
Every
offense.
single name people have been like.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought has shaped the direction of Mercedes-Benz for almost exactly as long. But this is the thing, some car bosses can make effects. It's making the cars look better, be better, more reliable. They're not just letting the designers, we'll throw that, we need money, we'll do that. Honestly, that's generally what they're doing. But they're putting their head down and we do it. I want development. I want to make sure this car's right. I want to make sure it's safe. So people drive it and they're comfortable and this, that, and the other. You don't always want to be, like a burden sort of thing. Like you don't want to always be in the news like Vauxhall been.
They've been in for
all year. They've had problems with the cars. In May, from May. Yeah.
What I'm going to do is though, because I'm gonna move it on because our time is sort of like
alright.
Is a bit constricted at the minute.
Yeah.
If we get time, now do you want to do your funny thing or do you want me to do my one first? Then you do.
Go yours first. Then I'll.
No.
Oh, you do that though. Because I finished with it, you see.
You just put it
Okay,
over
You're only 4 points.
No, you're alright.
So.
Now, Mikey.
Yeah.
You're the type of person who knows pornography.
What? Sorry.
Everyone knows what it is. Yeah.
Oh, you're the sort of person that...
It's like,
right.
This guy...
Let
me just get some...
I have got some morals, thank you. Okay. I don't waste my time.
Say that with a straight face, Mike. Say that with a straight face, bud. Go on. So anyway, shut up.
Right, no.
It has to
I have very intelligent morals, Mr. Millington.
No, you watch videos on YouTube and stuff like that. You know what I mean.
Yeah,
and sometimes the comments on the videos are even better than the video itself. And that's a fact, because some comments can be amazing. Now, this man, known as Limerick Larry, and you'll see why in has been on Pornhub. And what he's been doing is coming up with the best limericks I've ever seen in my life. Now, would you like to hear some of these lyrics? Because they are unbelievably great.
Go on.
And bear in mind, if you don't like sexual things, people, feel free to turn in.
And
To
please
skip ahead for like 2 minutes, because...
Or probably 10 hours, because we could be here for a while.
This is the first one. There was a young lady named Stoya, and porn sites were her employer. If I had the shot with a girl half as hot, believe me, I would destroy her. No, that's an intro.
Oh god. Oh god.
Having sex with bondage and leather is just not my sort of endeavour. If you asked me to shag with a whip and a gag, I'd answer now and not ever.
Well, we all know Jack's latest fantasy. So any girls that would like to do a sexual education course with Jack, please don't hesitate to email us at thest@gmail.com and just state your business.
I'm not even finished yet. Pornhub is the best site to fap on. If you want to see chicks with a strap on, when I get the phone, I reach for my phone because it's got this great Pornhub app on. Some of these are brilliant. And some of them are really dirty, but I really don't want to go and start saying these things.
I don't know who.
I would genuinely say this: go onto the Lad Bible, people, and this is what I found next.
Put the link on the description.
I will. It's 6 days ago. If the link doesn't work, then go back 6 days of posting. And to be fair, you can just read through 6 days posting from the Lad Bible because it's funny. And then get to this point and start reading through the rest of them because some of them you just will not believe. Now, Mikey, go.
2 bits of weird news.
I've got another piece, but I'll wait for you.
Right, the first piece is actually quite interesting. A lawyer in New York, right?
New York?
Yeah. Yeah, New York.
New York?
Yeah. Has a couple of years, I found this out the other day, 2-3 years ago, tried to sue Apple. Do you know why? Have a guess. Have a guess.
Copyright infringements?
Nope.
Logo infringements?
Nope. That's copyright.
Well,
Anyway.
Logo okay. Then
Sounds like you have to
like products, maybe?
Well, it has to do with the product. But yeah, okay.
No, I've got mine.
Guess what?
Well, I can't.
He tried to blame software issues when he tried to put Facebook, spelled it wrong, but book in his browser on his iPad. He then took Apple to court because he had damaged his sexual life and emotional damages and tried to sue them for $2.5 million.
Quick point there, just before my kid carries on. If you're wondering, that seems quite a lot. That seems quite expensive. Just to bear in mind, people who get cancer from cigarettes go and sue for a lot more, and that's what's about the right amount. Carry on, Mike.
I seen this on one of those most ridiculous court cases, right? And apparently he lost, sort of it.
You
But
think?
still,
You think?
I thought it was funny, the fact. Don't get me wrong, I'm a bit of a dopey person myself.
Speak for yourself, mate.
No, I am, but
You are.
You know what I mean?
You are speaking for yourself, buddy.
But, wait, I'm not even funny. He's a lawyer. I think he sort of know where it was F-U-C-K instead of F-A-C-E. It's quite a different bit on the keyboard.
You could always proclaim, well, it was 2 letters difference.
But you can also say, the fucking C's over there and the K's over there. Mate. And I'm not being funny, mate.
Back book.
Yeah. The A's over here and the U's over there.
So, he lost.
Yeah. And
Which is not a surprise. But you had another story. I don't know if you finished that story, but you had another story.
I'm quite disturbed by it, to be honest with you.
Oh, okay. This is all right.
It's actually quite a disturbing story. To them people who watch the shit like Towie and...
The S-Team podcast and...
No, the S-Team podcast is quite good.
Yeah, we try and keep it a bit above the standard of that lot over there, to be honest.
But like, during the people who watch all this Towie shit, they might be interested by this. And, like you were saying, sexual and shit like that. Well, 2 of the stars...
Not the Essex thing, is it?
Yeah. Something I don't know the
The
full
only
title.
way is Essex.
Whatever. Basically,
I like the way Mikey tries to like make sure that, oh yeah, I don't watch these things.
I don't.
And I know for the fact that you don't, but you're making it out like, oh, I don't even bother knowing what the title of the name is. You do, but you're doing that thing that a lot of people do. Who go, oh, the only way is Essex, but you can't say it too quickly because like, oh, you watch it too, and you're like, no, I've seen people make that mistake. That's why I just slowly
No, I
go
don't.
into it. But I know, I'm not saying you did. But you were saying about
this
this.
thing, I was
tower
on Facebook the other day, and it just popped up like someone put it up. I was like something to do with something else. So I clicked on it. It was like Daily Mirror.
Good paper.
Yeah. It was there. It was like something such a signed contract with what I thought. What's this? Looked at it, and 2 like people in the show.
Do you remember the names?
Charlotte and Gaza, I think it was.
Charlotte and
this is
Gaza. Okay.
I don't know. This is someone who's got the memory of a fucking catfish. Okay.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Signed contracts, right, with a company that produces sex toys, right? And they did.
That's like that thing JLS did when they had the condoms.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
The Durex, yeah.
Yeah. But go on.
Right. They did 3 for him, 3 for her, and apparently 1 that could do a bit of both. And I was like, I'm not even joking. I thought that was weird. You know,
I don't think it. I don't find it as weird as you.
You couldn't go to a sweet manufacturing. There you go. Can we make a sweet? No, they went to a sex toy manufacturer and went, "Hey, fancy doing this for us?"
You know what? I don't find that weird. You know, I actually really don't find that weird.
Oh, is this something you'd like to tell me about the S-Team industry? Are we just going to go into making sex toys instead of sweets? No, okay.
When we were making but I don't find that weird because generation stars nowadays, stars, I use the inverted commas on stars quite a bit. I find that normal now because, I mean, look at the big stars. Look at Miley Cyrus. Look at Justin Bieber. They all do mad stuff. This is mad, but I come to expect that now from people because they're just flipping nuts. But speaking of sexual content,
we seem to be talking quite a bit today.
No, this is no.
No, you noticed though.
Yeah, I know. It was about time. Now, traffic jams, people, we hate them. We've all been in them. We hate them. I mean, I've never had the misfortune to get stuck in one properly. I'm not driving. I haven't. I've been in the passenger seat. You're probably thinking, traffic jams get caused by crashes, or
learner drivers,
idiots like that. Learner drivers. That's what
Mikey Keating.
didn't you're not driving. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This traffic jam, not so much. I'll just say the title: couple having sex in car, too caught up in the moment to notice traffic jam made caused.
What a legend!
The incident occurred in outside
America.
Springfield. It isn't outside Springfield, Oregon City Jail on Sunday night. Police say that the couple had attended a nearby strip club, then retreated to their cars. Apparently, motorists had slowed down to watch the shameless couple. Action. People had slowed down and gone, "Get in there, mate." Police said so many people stopped to watch that it had caused a traffic jam. So, how? They must have been properly going for it to not have noticed.
What's going on out there?
I'm really glad that we don't have like a visual thing to see what Mikey was doing then, but it ended soon after police officers knocked on. How weird would that be? Just like, dun, dun, hello, stop having sex in the car, please.
No, please. Get your knob away.
The couple were arrested on charges of indecent exposure and disorderly conduct. Said normally they'd have just been told to move along, but police were forced to act because someone complained about the traffic and the noise. I find it bizarre. I was just thinking, I'm not surprised by this because genuinely it's just the way that life is going now, where you're getting to a point where people just don't care anymore. And this is one kind of example of it.
I've got another one for you. Have you finished up your own side?
Yeah. I mean, we're going to be talking about motorsport next, anyway.
When you, Jack, who did you order your pizza from?
I don't buy pizza.
Okay, that's just fucked myself up straight away. Well, when I get a pizza, I ever go to Captain Tony's on Bury Road.
Okay.
Or Domino's Pizza.
Okay.
And we get it delivered. Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Oh yeah, just for
Right.
the record, people, I don't actually eat takeout pizza.
Yeah, so he's just made this fat shit here,
I
right?
think I might do soon.
Try it. Here you go, I'll order pizza for someone else.
It's alright, mate, don't worry.
Anyway, Domino's Pizza in Manchester, yeah? Apparently,
I think I know what you're going to say.
someone
but I'm
ordered the
sure
pizza.
I think I know what you're going to say.
No,
Go on.
no.
Go on, I'm not going to say
Ordered
it.
the pizza, yeah? And the delivery guy threw the pizza and all the other bits through the window. They caught it and they just threw him the money down and he walked off like it was nothing. The thing is, it's not a false story, it's a real story that was taken on video in Manchester.
I've seen the thing.
And the fella's like, he's gonna throw it off. He's got, nah.
And he went, woof.
He got it up as well.
The thing is, he got it up, got it through, got everything else up, and then the money went straight to him, picked it up and went off. It was a brilliant little thing to actually
Just,
but in the real world, in the world, you'd be thinking, why don't you just ring the bell and
lazy bastard.
I know, but to be fair, it's a nice story. Maybe they knew him. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, he's probably that pissed off and he's going for shit as well. He's like, oh, fuck, just throw this up, quick. Come on, in a bit.
But
I thought it was quite
it's
good.
not really a story so much. It's just a little thing that happened, really.
Yeah.
But we're moving on to motorsport news.
Yes!
Happy over there.
Well,
Lewis Hamilton is world champion. Fair play.
To anyone that sat there and watched and endured 2 hours of motorsport, and to the one and only. See, that's him. The guy who runs Mercedes Benz.
Anyway,
That's the guy I was talking about before.
just get on with it.
Right.
Look, to be fair, Hamilton's driven brilliantly this season. And he's a deserved world champion. I'm not going to take that away from him.
Yeah.
People knew that I was on Rosberg's side, and to be fair,
Yeah.
I still am. But well played.
And you know what's funny?
Well played.
What made me laugh the most
Well played,
is the
Daniel.
fact of Jack's professionalism in the fact when he turned around and goes, he's got a problem. Hamilton's got a problem!
To be fair, you should have seen what he was like when Rosberg had a problem. People.
All
If he's-
season you've been doing the same though.
I have not been doing the same.
Is that... Oh, Lewis Hamilton's retired. Rosberg's won Australia. Ha! It's like, I ain't letting you get down with this motherfucker. So the
Yeah,
rest
to
of
be
the
fair,
season,
you know,
me and
I
Matty
don't-
Morris as patrons of Lewis Hamilton, have sat there and
Camp
support.
Hamilton's corner.
No, we have sat
The
there.
problem is though, and this is the problem why I don't like Lewis Hamilton. A lot of Brits share this same thing with me. They probably support anyone other than Rosberg, to be honest. But the reason why this will not get noticed and he will not go down as a great in the British eyes is because they don't like him. The Brits don't really like him, and to be fair, and I'm being brutally honest here, he's a great driver. You know, he's got cracking driving skills. Probably arguably the quickest guy out there alongside Alonso. But there's no character.
Yeah.
There's no real character with Hamilton.
No, there is.
I don't think there is.
First, you ask me, it's because people say Jensen Button, talk to him. He's a good driver. Both of them are good drivers, you know all this.
Everyone loves.
Personally, I think there's some people just don't like him because he's, you know.
I've got a problem with Hamilton because I just think that I'd love to have seen him come up in a small team, a struggling team, and he's never done that. He's always been in a top team, and I look at him and think, if you'd been in a small team at some point, I'd appreciate you a lot more than I do. He hasn't, but I've got to give him credit this year because he's been on the back of the foot all the way through the season, brought it round and won the championship. So
I'll give it to Mercedes.
I'll give it.
The guys in
this
those
year.
garages. You don't talk about the mechanics much. You know what I mean? It's, the driver, he's amazing. Without them mechanics, they'd be cool. So I'm going to say it here first. Probably one of the only people that says it on a podcast or whatever in the news feed. Because I know the likes of, Dave Coulthard and Eddie George will say, do great work to the mechanics, and they'll praise them for all the work they've done over the year. Not just at Mercedes, but all the teams.
The thing is, the reason why people don't say it is because everyone knows the job that everyone does behind the scenes to get that car working.
No, but it's always nice, every once in a while, for someone to turn around and go, bloody good job, mate, well done. You know what I mean? It's not just all about the driver.
It kind of is.
It's too much on the driver.
If you'd have put, let's say, you'd have put Esteban Gutierrez in that car, in Hamilton's car, and you'd have put, let's say, I don't know, someone not as good as Rosberg, that team would not have won the World Championship. Despite the advantage they had, they would not have won that World Championship.
I know, it's bits where got to the driver, but not so much. Because look at it. Personally, ask me, you should know what's up with the car.
Yeah.
Something doesn't fit. I understand.
I don't like that.
Something's up
I
with
don't
the
like
car.
that. I don't like that. And it's a problem I've got with F1 is that the driver should not know. He should know how the car feels, yes. If he knows there's a problem, he should be able to settle it. But he shouldn't be able to fix the problem within inside the car. I think reliability has become...
You might want you.
You know what? I'm sick of it. But what, Mum? You're going to ruin this. We're trying in the middle of it.
That's nasty. That's nasty.
Well, we've been watching the F1. Do you want to do one for us? Well, stop moaning then. What?
That's no way to speak to your mother.
I'm sorry.
That is no way. Go out and apologise to your mother right now.
I'm not meaning anyway.
That is disgusting. I thought better of you, Mr. Millington.
See, the thing is, he says he's discussing everything. He swears in front of his mother. And
I get slapped for it.
Yeah, so don't. So shut up. But, well played, Lewis. You know, you've done Britain proud.
Yeah, like Prince Harry said.
You know, Prince Harry's, came on the radio, said, and, and all that. But
he'll be a sir by Christmas, don't worry, mate.
Yeah. You're in line for the throne as well.
Yeah.
But nice bit in those sport for you. Britain's had a cracking weekend. In fact, had a cracking week. You know, Sam Baird in the lower GP3 formulas, he's been doing great. Jolly and Palmer won the GP2 championship. British drivers have been doing really well, and I want to make a point about WRC. Chris Meek's been signed for Sixton again next season, which is just the best news that we could have in the World Rally Championship, because he's looked like the only man this season who could beat the Volkswagens on pure pace alone. Nice to see.
He's been unlucky, sort of.
And he's been unlucky. You know, he led Rally Germany and then for half an hour and then crashed out. And that was just a pace note was wrong. It's great to see British motorsport racers back at the top of the game.
We're showing the Germans.
We're showing the Germans to go and sit down in a well over there.
And then tell the French, come on, hurry up, son. Get the repair work done.
We're gonna move it on to the big gaming news. We've got a lot of gaming news.
See how we did that?
Gaming news.
Firstly,
it's been 20 years since the greatest console, virtually of all time, was launched.
The computer.
No. Although PC Master Race are going...
PC Master Race, man.
No, the PS1 was launched 20 years ago this month. To be fair, this is what spawned off.
So was the Dreamcast.
No one gives a toss about the Dreamcast though, because Nintendo fell apart after that. And the best thing about the PlayStation 1 is that it was no, it wasn't. Sorry.
Wait!
Are you sure?
Yeah, I know. Because our
I always forget what Dreamcast was, but
it was a simple company, just Dreamcast.
Anyway,
I think it was Atari.
The problem with Dreamcast is that it felt, as much as everyone loves it, it fell away. The PS1 was originally formed alongside another company. Sony came alongside with... He doesn't even know. Nintendo, yeah. Nintendo ended up coming along years later, but they never quite got there. I mean, the Wii was brilliant.
It's a good console. It's actually a really good console.
And the Wii U's a brilliant console.
I like it. I like the concept of it, but I haven't got one.
Oh, Sega is the Dreamcast.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the Dreamcast was actually launched in '98.
Okay.
PS1 beat everyone to it, and Sony from there on in became like the big giants, especially over the PS2 region as well. PS2 went on, obliterated it, and then the PS3 came out and it was just relinquished control. But
say
I think
PS1 didn't have much.
Firstly, I'm going to say this: gaming news. Great to see 20 years PlayStation. Second piece of news: the Division is going to be looking like one of the best games to come out next year. We are doing something on the 20th of December in terms of looking over the year. I'm not going to say what it is just yet, but we're going to be doing something that looks forward, and one of these things is going to be looking forward to games that are coming out next year.
Are we doing anything else?
We are.
Beautiful date.
We are. But we're going to come to that another time.
What,
I wanted to make
closer
a point
to the time
that
sort of thing.
I might announce it next week or the week after.
I know, next week.
Sure, mate. But we've got some reviews to get into, people, but I want to make a quick point. OPM went and had a look at Battlefield Hardline. Now, people have been going Battlefield Hardline when it came out in E3 were like... Because it's the first game not to be exclusively developed by DICE. It's being done by Bob. And Bob has been able... So I can't remember the name of the company, but they're developing it. OPM have had two levels. They go 2 levels of Battlefield Hardline. They're saying this game could be even better than Battlefield 4. Now that's saying a lot about Battlefield 4, because a lot of the consensus on Battlefield 4 is that it had a terrible online launch, but the game itself was good.
As a person who actually owns the game,
Yes.
and premium.
All premium DLC packs, mate.
With a snowmobile and a hoversack.
Yeah. Go on.
And an M82 Havoc.
Well,
and an Apache helicopter.
Do you want to say what you're going to say? You're going to keep acting like this and waste more time. We're on a tight schedule here.
And a quad bike. I'm going in the X Games in Austin.
So moving it on. Come on, Mike.
No, go on.
I mean, that's a pretty exciting thing to, OPM to come out and go.
I'd say that at the same time as well.
It's cops and robbers. I think it'd be a really good thing. I like that idea of cops and robbers. But
hold the engine.
We're coming to the part of the time now where I talk about 2 gaming reviews, 2 games that last week were probably the biggest centre of attention. Those games are Assassin's Creed Unity, people.
And Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
No. And GTA 5.
Okay.
Advanced Warfare came out a couple of weeks ago, mate. Yeah, it did. You're just in it. Don't know what time zone you've been living in, mate. Assassin's Creed Unity I'm going to talk about first. Where to start, eh? Where to start? Arno Victor Dorian is the main protagonist in the game series of Unity, and as a character,
Rogue as well.
Rogue as well, but I can't do a review on that, so we'll come back to that.
Well, I'll be doing a review of that in January.
Yeah, looks like we both will. But the review on Unity, Arno's a cool character. I kind of like him. He's got a bit of character, not much. He's a better version. I'd say in terms of likeness, he's probably fourth best. You know, he's better than Connor, but not as good as the rest. I do like him. He's got a bit of cheek to him.
Yeah,
which I
it's
kinda
Black
like.
Flag good.
The only downside is with him is that his cheekiness sort of disappears as the storyline goes on. If he'd had a bit more to it, I'd have been like, yeah, he's a good character, but
But the guy's getting older.
he's a bit
That's the thing you've got to understand.
It's true, but
This character gets older and...
you know, the storyline is actually not told over that many years.
No, I know, because the friendship, I wish it was that one. But what I'm trying to say to you is...
When I get back to my review. Now, the gameplay, I'm going to talk... Actually, no, I'm going to make a good point about one of the support characters, Elise Delasere. She's probably the best female supporting Assassin's Creed character I've seen since Rosa in the second Assassin's Creed.
Rosa?
Yeah. You might not remember, she's the only person I've ever seen in Assassin's Creed game say happy birthday to Ezio. You might not remember, she weren't in it for that long, but I loved her, I thought she was great. Elise is brilliant. You know, the voice actor, the way she looks, everything is brilliant, top notch about it, can't fault that. Voice actor, can't remember who did it, but she's great. Now, that's the positives of the game. You know, graphically it looks beautiful. I mean, you know, a lot of people have been going, oh, it's down to 900p, and oh, it's not as good as the 1080p as it's supposed to be on the PS, but looks great. Looks better than, you know, really
bit
nice.
laggy, as I've seen myself.
That's just, yeah.
But I'll come to...
When it comes to gameplay, they need to bloody change the fighting system because I'm sick of just button bashing square and circle to deflect shots. The parkour system is nice. I like the new parkour system. I think that's great. But what would I give up? No, Mikey, stop. Ignore that. Don't know what that is, but I'll pay attention to it later. What would I say in terms of storyline? Now, Assassin's Creed, as you know, every single game has got a great storyline.
An interesting story.
Every single game. Okay, Assassin's Creed 3 was a bit strange,
But
but it was a
interesting.
good story. Assassin's Creed 4.
I can't really comment on that.
You can't comment on that, no.
Not until next
Assassin's
week.
Creed 5. Unity. The big PS4 next gen. And this is the message that Ubisoft sends to all the fans at the end of the story. Fuck you. That is it. I'm genuine, and me and Matty spoke about this and he agreed with me. I have never felt so mad at an Assassin's Creed game for a storyline and an ending that's not even there. There are little...
We finished it now?
Yeah, we finished it last week. There are little points in the storyline that are brilliant. And I'll come to a point where sequence 10 and 11 puts Arno in a situation where we've never seen an assassin before. And it's a great sequence. It's probably one of the best sequences I've ever seen in Assassin's Creed game.
What, in the franchise sort of thing?
In the franchise, for a fact. But, as soon as that sequence is over, it goes back to being a dull storyline, and the ending is just... I'm so disappointed that it's just like, you paid that money for a game that still doesn't properly work in places, and that ending is...
ridiculous.
Oh, it's so annoying, and it's so bad. It's like they took 5 minutes to think of an ending and just threw it in. People, you know, I'm not going to do any plot spoilers for you here on the present day storyline, but I'm going to tell you straight away, there isn't a storyline in the modern day. You know, there's like 3 segments, and it's flipping terrible because you don't do anything. You don't join the modern day storyline. The only good thing in it is that Sean is still there. You don't see him, but you hear him. So for those of you that like Sean from the present day storyline, voiced by Sean Hastings, you will be happy because he's in there briefly. And that's why I said to Matty before this game came out, I said to him, there needs to be a modern day storyline because that's what keeps the
The Assassin's
The
thing.
Assassins. That's what keeps it interesting on both sides. Black Flag is probably the best single-player modern-day storyline that has been since Desmond. This one has no storyline. It's a load of crap. And quite frankly, I'm so annoyed with this game that I feel like throwing it out of a window if it weren't so expensive.
Or possibly sell it to your best friend.
I'm not selling it to you because I'm going to give this advice to everyone, and including you. This is the game that you. Do you want to know the game that you go and get?
What?
Go and get GTA. Go and get COD. Go and get COD instead of flipping Unity, because the storyline is so shallow that it's so quick as well. It goes. You could finish it in a day. I'm not joking. It's that quick, and I just think that. And I'm sorry to say it, but I never thought I'd say this about Assassin's Creed game for a rating, but I'm giving it 6.2. And it's not a good 6.2, it's a bad
Sorry, you
6.
gave Destiny a 6.
No, I gave Destiny an 8.2 actually when I revised the figure.
Yeah, but originally you gave
it
it
was 7.2.
It was
Do you want me to go back and play all the other things to prove I said a 7.2?
I don't know. Fucking hell, calm down.
I'm mad. I'm genuinely.
Calm the fuck
I can't
down.
help it. I can't help that.
Keep your cock in your pants, alright?
It is.
I didn't realise it was coming out your fucking head.
I'm so disappointed with Unity. I'm honestly, mate.
Don't use the sink.
I'm not going to use the sink.
Because they don't want the water.
Okay. So that's my parents on the podcast, but I've got another review coming, which is GTA. Now you're probably thinking, hang on, you've only had it since Tuesday. It's not really a week.
Must you really
But-
have to review that?
But the thing is, I've owned the game for years anyway.
Yeah,
It's
the
brought out
both
all
of
the-
us have.
And we know, well, you kind of know, but this first player person brings a whole new game. And it's a brilliant, brilliant game. Obviously there's no point in me going into a quick long review like I've just done with Unity. I'm just going to mention the brief one. Firstly, if you didn't know already, there's a point where you can fly as a flipping eagle and some pigeons and seagulls. Don't ask me how, but you can flip and do it. If I can find the point, I will show Mikey later, but it's just nuts.
I would have been eagle.
Right. The
Like
second,
Mikey coming to the house. No, I'm going
the
around
thing,
with an eagle.
the thing is though, it's like, it brings a whole new, you know what I love? Graphically it's great, all the new content they put in is great. I managed to sink a monster truck. I was quite proud of myself for doing that.
You what?
I sank a monster truck. Long story short, I was getting
You-
chased by the
so-
police,
you
and I
sunk?
went through a piece of water, and I knew I'd have made it, but there was a rock underneath the water that I didn't see, and it flipped me, and I got stuck. That's on Twitter if you want to go and have a look at that picture. But
You don't fucking tell me, what you?
just look on Twitter. But
Okay.
it's a great game. It's a brilliant game, and you know the storyline's exactly the same. People, there's no real change in that. They brought the heist missions in, which I haven't had a go with yet.
Oh, when I get it, mate,
GTA
we'll go on it.
Online is perfect.
Everyone's
All
fine.
the new little additions have just made that game just a bit better. Really great.
Mhm.
And Mikey's going to make a point now for some random reason.
For us that have...
I
Okay.
haven't finished my review by the
Oh.
way, so carry on.
Oh, okay.
You thought I'd finished, hadn't you? No.
So,
All these little bits and pieces have made the GTA game even better than I'm thinking.
no fucking with me, bro.
Yep.
Yeah, fucking...
It's just huge, kind of. Now, what would I give GTA as a review? Now, it's hard really to review a game that's already been out for a year, and you loved it so much when you first played it, and then it's a sort of a new experience, but it's not a new experience. It's really hard to review the game. So, in terms of if I'd have put an original rating back on GTA 5 when it came out on PS3, I'd have said a 9.5.
I would have actually put a 9.6.
Something like that. What am I going to do and put it on the PS4? Because the excitement factor of playing a new
It's
GTA
gone down.
has gone.
I'd say about an
It
8.5.
would. I would give it. I'd give it a strong 9. I'd give it a 9. I know people will be thinking, "What the hell? How have you still got Trials Fusion ahead of that?" I'm now classing Trials Fusion as a completely different game, people, as to a normal console game. So,
Well, you've got to remember though, it's a remake. So
and the
it's
fact
also-
and you've got to also take into account that GTA is a remake of something that's already come out.
So you've got to take into effect
So
that's why
it's-
it's not big garbage. It's not a brand
It's
new
not a
game.
downgrade. It's not a downgrade at all. It's just a 9.0. I think it's a great game, and I still love it, and I love playing as And just a quick point, if you transfer your character over from whatever console you've had before, you'll love the way it does it. It's brilliant.
How do I get?
You do it through Rockstar. If you go into the Rockstar website, you go to transfer. I think it's Social Club, then transfer. It'll give you a list of details of how you can do it.
Can you show us in a bit?
Yes. Now, people, we might as well carry on because we've got 2 more things to talk about. We've got this film review that we're going to be talking about in a minute, and the thing that made me almost cry during the week. But this film review thing's coming first. So, Mikey, what did we go and watch last night? What did we go and watch last night, Mikey?
What we went to watch last night?
Yes.
Night Swim's a Secret Service.
No, we did not go and see Night Swim. You're a dick.
No, last night, guys, me and Jack took the big plunge and thought, let's go watch.
It's not really a big plunge for
Well,
me.
I took the plunge. She took the... Never mind.
We went to see Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 1.
Part 1.
Part 1, that's what we went to see.
First thing I want to say is, fucking hell, I didn't want to say that.
That's the first thing you wanted to say.
Oh God,
And, and Mikey's dropped the mic, so it's 1-1.
No, what a way for Seymour, what was it?
Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, to do his last.
I still think he's in Part 2, you know. I still think
I
part of
think
it's
he's done bits of it, yeah.
bits of Part 2, yeah.
But bloody hell, that was one hell of a performance.
He brought the character of Plutarch Heavensby to life, and I thought that it was such cracking little comedy moments with him in there, and Woody Harrelson, who plays Hamish Abernathy.
Yeah.
You know, they were both brilliant. Got to give me credit to Elizabeth Banks, who played Effie. She was great. Effie is the one who was looking at President Coin up and down, looking at that outfit.
Oh yeah. How do you
those-
expect him to
those
live
three-
within his jumpsuits all the time?
Those 3 were brilliant. I got to give credit to Josh Hutcherson, who played Peter. He was brilliant because it was so how, even though he only has limited moments in the film, he's brilliant. You could. Now, as someone who's read the book, I knew what was going on and stuff like that. But he played the part of Peter better than I could ever have imagined that. I had a bit of a doubt about him during both films, but he's brilliant in this one, so I'm going to give him full kudos there. Everyone who was in that film was great. Every actor was in that film was great.
Yeah.
I thought, Natalie Dormer, who was in there, who played Cressida, I thought she was great. You know, I mean, especially with the way how Pollux told Katniss to sing, and that actually happens in the book as well. That was a great moment. It was great to see
I thought one of my favourite moments is when she's having a go at that president.
President Coin.
Yeah. If this is the cameras I told him. See, I told you. You're just like,
How did she come across the President Coin? Come across the Cole? Would you say she
cold, collective,
Yeah.
quite organised.
Now,
you know.
in the book, she's a bit more of a bitch, to be honest.
No,
in the
but
first part,
she gave that bitchy sort of.
She
This is
definitely
my. This is my. This is how this does. You know, she threw at them like this. That's the thing I'd say. I don't want to be like, if you read the book and it's that character, and you go to watch the film and it's a completely different end of the scale. You're like, that's not how it's written here.
Everyone who's
Like, you make that little biography of that person. Yeah, I can't really say much. Because the way you had described her to me, you're like, she's bitchy, she's going to be this, you're expecting this to jump out, this is going to happen, that's this sort of character-based sort of to me. I literally, it's like, yeah, this is my district, you can't make this, you can't do it, she's thrown her demands out.
And I've got to give credit to Julianne Moore, who plays President Coin. She was a brilliant cast as President Coin. And I think the thing with this film is that everything is virtually spot on. The score is perfect. It's wonderfully done. The song that Katniss sings, The Hanging Tree, the best way of doing it. What I would say about the film is that it suffers from 2 problems. First problem is that the director handled the action scene perfectly brilliantly well. And I said this to you last night. He did it brilliant. I just feel that in some more of the tense scenes where everything goes quiet, could have been moved along a little bit. I mean, how did you know when the District 13's getting bombed?
Yeah.
Did you feel tense? Did you feel like, oh crap, something's going to happen to you?
Yeah.
Like,
When I bit of a spoiler,
well, it's part 1, so it's not going to reveal anything.
no,
So
what
you're
I'm
all right.
saying, when the bombing,
Hmm.
Katniss looked up and there's a crack in the thing. I thought this right as
Do you think that was going to fit? Yeah.
In a bit, lad. In a bit.
I felt like it
But-
was done brilliant.
What could have been better?
The problem is though.
I can't believe the fucking ending though.
The problem is though.
What did I say to you? What did I say to
You
you?
didn't say anything because you didn't even know what the ending was going to
No,
be.
what did I say to you? If it's a shit ending, what was I going to say?
I don't think it was a bad ending.
No,
But
but the way it ended.
But I thought it would end a bit further into the storyline, which I was surprised at. But from what the material that they had from the first half of Mockingjay, it is so slow to begin with, and they did as best as they could with the film. And the only reason why the film suffers from that is because of the book, because they stuck so well to the book, and the way it was tense. I just felt that the scenes could have been a little bit more tense in areas. And I think that's the problem with the director. But he's on board for the second. He's done the second part, and I know for a fact that there's so much going on in the second part. You're going to love it as a film. People.
Yeah. No, but
And the one other problem though that I've got with it, and it's a problem that I had with Deathly Hallows Part 1. It's a problem I had with the first part of the Twilight when they split that into the second part. I don't know.
are
why.
you serious?
No.
You watched Twilight?
I watched. Do you know the thing is, people, right? He's saying, oh, I hate Twilight and all that. The thing is, though, people, right? I hate to go off topic for a minute, but the only way you can say you hate something is if you watch it. I watched it, and the first part is terrible. But this film suffers from the problem with the first part of Twilight, the end of the film, first part of Harry Potter, the end of the film. It's a part 1 film, and it doesn't feel finished. And because it's a part 1 film, it struggles, and that's why I can't give it as much as a high rating as I'd love to give it. Simply because they should have made a big 3.5 hour epic, or a 4 hour epic of Mockingjay. But I can't wait to see part 2 though. I'm really looking forward
What
to
made me laugh is when I went into the cinema, we were going in it, if this is a crap ending, I will say such and such. And you went, yeah, nah.
Yeah, I wasn't really bothered because I was looking in the audience.
And what made me laugh the most is, Jack being Jack picks the only row
Which is the
nearly
road we were on.
every single girl was sitting on. So we're sitting at the end, right? And I hit the end of that and it goes quiet. And all you hear is me going, are you seriously taking the piss? And you could tell little bits of laughter.
There weren't no laughter as such,
No.
I'll be honest. But you could tell people were just like, sort of sharing the same sort of thought as you. But all the rest of the girls were like, I don't know what to do, I don't know. And I could look round, I remember looking round at people and I was just like, yeah, you've read the book. You knew, everyone knew exactly where it was going to end. So they didn't show any reaction to that. But everyone who hadn't read it reacted like you did.
I was the leader of that group. I was like, are you seriously taking... But what made me laugh is, someone actually said,
But the thing is...
you legend. The fact I sat there, like I heard someone
By the way,
slap
people, I did not hear that, so Mikey could be making this up.
No, I actually heard you legend.
I'm not, no, I didn't hear it. I'm
I
sorry.
heard it. Anyway.
Yeah, he's thinking of things in his head.
No, I'm not.
But what would you give it as a rating?
What we doing it? Are we doing it like what the
We're doing it
guy
like
did
we
double
usually-
toast like you?
No, we're
Better
doing it
than
the way we do it.
Come on.
No, we're not copying off someone else. I'm not doing that. That means...
Sorry.
No, come on, what would you give it as a rating out of 10? I'll take your time, Mike, you know. Right, I'll give you my rating. I'm going to give it an 8.4. I think it's a strong enough film to give it an 8.4. The reason why it only gets an 8.4, it could go lower to be fair, people, but I'm in a good mood, so I'm giving it an 8.4. On another day, it'd probably be an 8.
What's our fucking friendship rating? A 9.3 in a happy mood. In a bad mood, it's fucking 6.2.
6.9.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. Well, go on. I give it an 8.4 because I'm in a really good mood and I think it deserves an 8.4.
If I'm in
For
a
me.
decent mood, I'd say I'd give it.
Develop the Irish accent, please.
I'd give it a 9.
You give it a 9? Wow. I wasn't expecting that higher rated, to be honest. You really enjoyed it that
From
much.
the action fan himself.
And this is saying something, people. The action
This
fan
is a
going,
guy who
yes.
refuses to watch it. But this is the thing, me and Jack did a deal. When these Hunger Games come out,
And these sort of films
we will actually go to see them.
Well, you will come and see them with me because I
Yeah.
see them regularly. So
Yeah, I tell you, just come watch the Hunger Games, you'll enjoy it. What's the first
and
one?
I've also told him
It's
that
quite
I will
good.
start kicking him if he doesn't start reading the books that he's got around.
Second one, alright.
I think I mean
Second one wasn't really good.
Catching Fire. You loved that film. You said it was brilliant.
I thought it was brilliant, but like if
Is
one of them
Mockingjay
things-
better than Catching Fire?
Yeah.
Fair enough. Can't fault you then. I can't fault
the first one was better than Catching Fire, then, by quite a distance.
that. No, the first Hunger Games film was not that good. I mean, it suffered from problems, but we've got one more thing to talk about.
And Jack lost his virginity to a Twinkie. No, I'm joking.
So, yeah. Just, now, I'm gonna, this is actually a review because it's something that virtually made me cry, and I'm not the type of person to do that sort of thing. And people, if you haven't known already, and I did a review of this, a film of this book 2 months ago called Maze Runner, and I had the books, and I finished reading the trilogy. I just want to say, and I'm going to go on record as saying it, as this is the best trilogy book of books I've ever read in my life. You think The Hunger Games is good, The Maze Runner goes to another level. It's so nuts. It's like, it's a very sort of dystopian world that you've got in The Hunger Games. People who like The Hunger Games will like these books. Honestly, people, the ending is, it's perfect, but it's something happens, and I'm literally saying 3 pages before the end something happens that made me almost burst into tears.
Someone shanked someone.
No, it's,
Someone shot
but
someone.
no, I'm not going to say what happened, but it's like you have no time to spend with what happened because it's such a rush of events that happens towards the end. The book is so fast paced at the end, you have no time to react to it. And then as soon as you get,
do, because you just close the book a minute ago. Ah, fuck.
no, because what happens at the end? No, you don't, because you haven't read the book. But I absolutely love these books, and people, you can go out and pick all 3 books up for a tenner. So I would strongly recommend you go out and do that because you'll be getting a great imaginative story. If you like The Hunger Games, you're going to love the Maze Runner books, and the fact that the film is probably the best sort of how can I put it?
Amazing. Well, next to real
film,
things.
the film is like the best adaptation of a book I've ever seen in the sense that they've changed the storyline to so much to the extent that it makes perfect sense. And James Dashner, the author of the Maze Runner books, said that film is better than the books he's ever wrote. Now that says a lot coming from an author who loves his book so much.
Have you ever heard of the fact he's getting a couple of quid?
But the fact that yeah, he is.
He gets a percentage of that.
He
She's
would
like,
do.
it's better than the books. You people go,
Well, how many
well, if he
people-
said it's better than the books, I'll go do that.
Have you ever seen J.K. Rowling come out and say that the film is better than the book? Have you said it? Have you ever seen Suzanne Collins come out about the Hunger Games? I remember she came out and said Catch Fire was an absolutely brilliant book, but I feel like they could have put a couple of things in. No one's ever. I've never seen an author say that about a film of something that they've done. That's all I'm going to say. But
No, alright, you made your point.
I love
Jack.
I love these books. I do. Don't care.
Whereas I love my car.
Imaginary car. But that's it, people, for this podcast.
Want to follow
Felt
Jack?
like a good podcast.
Yeah.
It was a longer
Any
than
problems?
usual
Just
podcast. Thanks,
email
Mum.
and Dad.
He's fine. So if you want to follow Michael Keating on Twitter, follow him at
Mikey Keating XD. If you want to follow Jack on Twitter, it's JackTM53. If you want to follow Marty Morris,
follow me on the street in Greasby.
Well,
Also,
so-
Moggy, Lewis_Moggy. You can like us on Facebook. You can like
The
the video.
ST.
You can give us a subscribe.
yeah,
If
you
you
can
want
join us on Destiny at the S Team UK Ltd.
Yeah, if you want to blow Mikey up or go up against him, that'd be great. Appreciate that, Macy. But I'm only joking, buddy.
You're welcome, best me.
Thanks very much for listening, people.
Whoa!
Thanks very much for listening. We've been the ST.